Filming outside sucks.
It's not ideal. I mean, it's a very nice day. It's not too hot yet. Bright and early, 7:30 in the morning. Kyle, you ready to talk about bad movies?
This early in the morning? I think we were recorded this early.
Never even close to this early. Yeah. We normally do after lunchtime, but it should be fun. We've got a doozy to talk about. Let's do it.
How original concept is it from the previous show?
None at all.
Oh.
It's the exact same thing, basically. Hello and welcome back to the 136th episode of Good Bad Media LLC, show we watch terrible movies. Tell you if you should too. I'm your host, Mr. Brian Shilgo, joined once again in the great state of Arizona, Mr. Kyle Hinton. Kyle, our last episode we finished up. It was late in the evening. I say late in the evening. It wasn't. It was 7 o'clock.
No.
But so that's gonna do it for this very special episode.
It's a very dark episode.
Very dark episode. I think we're gonna have to film the other episode tomorrow morning. Maybe. Because it's too dark.
Wow. But it was like pitch black outside.
We were trying to record right at sunset, and sunset goes quick around these parts.
Yeah, who would have known that on the outskirts of Phoenix, Arizona.
Why are you? That is just where we are. I mean,
that's where we are. But that everything gets really, really dark.
Yeah, it gets quite dark.
Everything you've ever seen about the desert being like you can't see shit.
No, it gets very dark. We were illuminated by our tiny little lights that we were able to bring on the plane with us. So we decided to film the next episode in the morning, and now it's light. It's nice.
Yes, it's
nice,
not
lovely.
100 degrees yet.
It's not 100 degrees yet, and even when it is, us being Missouri boys, the difference in humidity, everybody says it, it's not a lie, is very nice in comparison.
As long as you stay out of the direct sun.
Yes, I mean, it is very hot, but it's not your sweat actually evaporates down here. Whereas in Missouri, your sweat just stays forever. It never goes anywhere.
It doesn't want to go.
This is already going away because I don't know if you can see, but oh my God. So today we're talking about a 2020 film, also set in and filmed in the great state of Arizona. Yeah. We're talking about 2020's Battlefield 2025.
One thing I do know, it's a hunter.
We're the prey. Ain't nothing keeping me from my reward money.
Looks like the fight's just getting started.
Yes.
Kyle, this film has a 2 out of 10 on IMDb. So slightly worse reviewed than our last film, which is a travesty to our last film. Look, I know that La Salinas incident wasn't good, but in comparison to this film,
it's a masterpiece.
It is a bit of a masterpiece. So this movie has a very similar premise, but is executed poorly. In comparison, it is executed significantly poorly in almost every regard. And we'll get to it, but I have a lot of thoughts about the decisions this movie makes in its writing. I think its biggest weakness is its writing, in terms of...
that's what you think its biggest weakness is?
I really do.
Okay.
I really do think its biggest weakness
probably the biggest weakness is the writing. One of the major things, just right off the bat, once we get directly into it, was the complete lack of blocking that the actors had.
I'm Kevin.
Sophie.
Sophie. It's a pretty name.
Do all right with them?
Can I buy you a drink?
Thanks. But I'm meeting someone.
Yes. Look, there are lots of issues. I'm not saying that the writing is singular. I'm just saying.
For the record, that is not necessarily hurting the actors and their performance.
No.
That is hurting the editors and what they can cut together.
Yes.
I'm Kevin. I'm Kevin.
We open up on some sweet space pictures. Somebody went and bought a space title credit sequence from Envato Elements or something, Envato Marketplace. And I've seen worse credits, I'll say that, on movies. But we do get to see the Sombrero Galaxy, which is my personal favorite galaxy.
And we're in for a good time where the cast all just has one name. They all just have a first name.
Yes. And I love that one guy is, and his name is Titus, I don't know what his last name is, Cogentin or something. He's credited as Alien.
Alien. Not even the alien. Just Alien.
So, future Brian here, coming to you from back in the studio. We've returned safely from our excursion to Arizona. And later on in the day that we actually filmed this review, we were on the set of Pocket Man and Cargo Boy 3. More about that down the road in the future. We haven't revealed all of the secrets of that yet. They are coming still. But we met a guy who was working as a crew member on Pocket Man and Cargo Boy 3, who we found out as we were kind of hanging out on set and they were filming, and there's this guy who was doing sound, and he was also taking some behind-the-scene pictures and stuff. And at one point, we heard the director or somebody refer to him as Titus, and we were like, how many Tituses are there in the film industry in Arizona? Can't be that many, I feel like. So we went up and we talked to him, and we were like, hey, we just watched a movie called Battlefield 2025. And the look on his face when we said that was very funny. And we're like, you don't happen to have been the alien in that movie, were you? He was like, yes, I was. So we chatted with him for a while. Super cool dude. He was, like I said, he was helping out on Pocket Man and Cargo Boy, doing sound, doing all kinds of stuff, just as like a sort of a general member of the crew. But he did a lot of stuff on Battlefield 2025, but he was also specifically the alien. He told us a couple quick stories about how cold it was when they were filming. It was freezing, and he just couldn't wait to get out of the costume every day because it was like this very thin rubber, which you'll see the costume a little bit later in the review. He told us it was something else. The whole production was something. He said he enjoyed it, but it was very cold, and there was a whole lot going on. So that was kind of a fun surprise. We actually, without knowing it, met the alien from Battlefield 2025, and I've probably already put in the picture once, but I'll leave it again here. We got a picture with Titus holding one of the props from Pocket Man and Cargo Boy 3. This is Titus. This is what he looks like, not in the costume, not in the alien costume. And thanks for talking to us, Titus. It was super fun to meet you, and good job murdering everybody in this movie. Oh, spoilers for later on in the review. And then we get the opening Battlefield 2025 title card, and did you notice it just like stops animating halfway through? It does the thing where it like pushes in, and it's like these big metal letters.
Yes.
And then it gets like halfway, and you think it should keep going, and it just like freezes and stops, and I'm like, and then we just sit there, and I'm like, oh, it didn't finish.
I also want you to recognize that this film was made in conjunction with like 4 companies, made and distributed with like 4 companies.
Yeah.
It was by the main people.
Yep.
I don't have no clue who the fuck they are, but then it was made in association with like Funhouse Entertainment or whatever. Mm-hmm. Then it's like Triple G, mm-hmm. and then some other one.
I thought there was 3, but yeah, there's at least 3.
There's the people who actually made the film, and then 3 other people who I'm assuming are producer partners,
probably,
and distribution partners,
probably. Yeah.
And the fact that this was able to get greenlit by multiple people mm-hmm. is stunning.
It's so what I think. I don't know how many people greenlit it. It seems to be the sort of the brainchild, the passion project of one specific film creator, Joseph.
Somebody owed him a favor. That's what I'm gonna say.
I don't know about that. He seems.
You're gonna tell me this fucking salesman went into somebody's office and was like, "Hey, I got an idea for either already had a finished product, or beforehand where he's like, I got an idea for a movie."
I mean. Yeah, I think that he could say I had an idea for a movie. So I don't know. So he's clearly seems to be part of the Phoenix/Arizona filmmaking community.
Speaking of which, the fact that we didn't get Death Hunter in this film was
we don't get Death Hunter. We do get another, at least one other recognizable face, which we'll talk about.
Oh boy,
who we may meet today. So We'll talk about that in a few minutes. So I think he's part of like the indie filmmaking community that exists here, which is, as we've talked to some of the producers and whatnot, is there's a relatively large, or not large, but a relatively moderately sized like indie filmmaking community here, and this guy seems to be a part of that. And he wrote and directed the film, and he's worked on quite a few other small, like similar type of projects, like action movies and stuff like that. And so. Let's just get into it. But we open up on this scene where it's this guy in a bar, drinking at a bar. And I don't remember this guy's name. Kevin, yes. And he's at the bar, and this woman walks up and sits down, who they did not mic at all. Because her first line is inaudible.
Yes.
I'm Kevin. Sophie.
And then Kevin starts talking to her, and I will give this actor is pretty good.
He is one of the better ones, for sure.
He's pretty good.
It's a pretty name.
Do all right with them?
Can buy you a drink?
Thanks. But I'm meeting someone.
Someone. Boyfriend? Husband?
I will say that the dialogue in this scene attacked me personally because it felt like something that I would have written like 10 years ago, like if I was writing a scene.
Brian. And then I took it personally.
Yeah. It's because, I mean, he comes in and he says to her, like, she's sitting there and he's like, can I buy you a drink, blah, blah, blah. And he says, I'm not seeing a ring, but lack of ornamentation doesn't necessarily mean anything these days.
Not seeing a ring, but lack of ornamentation doesn't necessarily mean shit these days, so not really sure.
And it's just every line he has is
that is the most Brian Schlegel line.
It's trying to be so clever, but it's just it's not, and Can
I buy you a drink?
Thanks. But I'm meeting someone.
Someone. Boyfriend? Husband? Not seeing a ring, but lack of ornamentation doesn't necessarily mean shit these days, so not really sure.
I liked it better, curly.
You liked what better, Curly?
Your hair.
How do I know you?
Not yet.
But I will say that his performance for this dialogue is about as good as you could do.
And the blocking here is probably most egregious.
Yeah.
Aw, there go your instincts. Leading you down the wrong path again.
You know, they say that the best rum in the world comes from Jamaica, but I can tell you from personal experience, nobody beats the Cubans.
And here I was thinking.
I think that's true. I also think one of the biggest issues this movie suffers from is that the audio was cut together, and this scene is mostly actually seems like it's on set and not ADR. Hence Sophie's like poorly picked up lines and stuff like that. A lot of the other dialogue in this movie is ADR, like extensively. And I think the biggest problem that I noticed is that this movie, they very clearly looks like it's like they did the first pass of dropping all the like dialogue and stuff in. And then, like, we'll go back and touch that all up and mix everything together and make sure everything balances right, and transitions and all this sort of stuff. And then they didn't have time to do that.
Let's just say they didn't have time. That's a kinder way of putting it.
Yeah.
Nobody beats the Cubans.
And here I was thinking.
Are you sure we're even on the right road? I told my sister to have the car back an hour ago, and
Yes, dude, just keep going straight.
this road isn't even straight.
Then we cut to these two after this bar scene. We introducing Kevin or whatever his name is. We cut to this car where these two teenagers are driving, and the ADR in here is terrible. Once again, I'm gonna turn our air conditioning off.
Okay. Feels pretty good so far. We got like stove and some grill and like an oven. Like Pueblo kind of stuff. Is that Pueblo? Adobe? Navajo? One of those cultures. It's pretty cool. Like a little clay chimney. Well, I mean, it's not, clearly it's made of plaster, but The chimneys. That's a verb. I made that a verb.
Remember to turn that back on when we're done.
Definitely. I was trying to entertain our people by describing our easy bake oven over there.
Oh, our little gas oven and the grill.
Yes.
Yeah. So the ADR in the car with these two teenagers, real not great.
I'm telling you, man, it's gonna be the weekend.
Well, what's happening?
Allie, finally getting in there.
Oh, bullshit.
But clearly it's one of those things that, especially the friend who is driving the car, boy, it's something else.
Sure will.
Well, you don't believe me? Let's bet on it.
You already owe me like $30.
But we're introduced here to Dylan, who is going to meet his friend Abby, who he's trying
They're
to bang.
just friends.
He's trying to bang. He's like convinced that he's gonna get it in with her.
She's practically been begging for it. Why else do you think she invited me on this camping trip with her?
You're dreaming.
So then he walks into the house. He arrives. We also introduced very briefly the sister, Sophie, Allie.
Rose.
There's an Allie and a Rose. Rose is the older sister,
Yes.
And her boyfriend, and I don't know his name. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So, biggest problem with this movie, we're introduced to like 38 characters.
Yeah, and only 3 of them matter.
And 3 of them matter. We'll get to that, and it's infuriating.
I love you.
I know. I love you too.
So he walks. Dylan arrives at this house and walks in, and Kyle, there's a really terrible like added dog barking sound effect when he walks in the front door. It's awful.
Hello? Ooh.
Oh my gosh, Dougal, get off him!
But then he walks in. He's like in the kitchen, and it's him and the boyfriend, I think, or somebody, kind of chit chatting for a few minutes. And why you're in a big empty house? Why is every line ADR'd here?
Hey.
Hey, I was just
Hungry?
looking for something to drink.
Oh, help yourself.
This is the like
Probably
the most
super echoey.
I guess, but it was infuriating. You're in a giant empty house, so the best possible place to get clean audio, and everything's still ADR. I was so infuriated.
Can I help you find something?
My charger. Can't remember where I left it.
And then Sophie or Allie walks in, who's the girl, and him and Dylan her and Dylan are talking, and we got to set up that he's a creep because she's standing there and he zooms in on her butt with his phone. We don't hear him take a picture. And if that's the case, he was just using his phone to zoom in on her butt. Your eyes work better than your phone, brah. Like what? It's so weird. Like you would think you'd hear like he would be taking a picture.
Click.
It would just be somebody going click into a microphone. That would be the sound effect for it.
Click.
Here it is. What?
We're set up. Dylan's a creep trying to sleep with Allie. Allie Rose, who's Rose's younger sister. Allie and Dylan and Rose's boyfriend are all going on camping trip together for the weekend. That's the setup. Then
I wouldn't want to go camping in the Arizona wilderness.
Yeah.
For a couple of reasons. One of which being it's miserable.
You insult the great state of Arizona,
How
Kyle,
dare
while
I?
we're here.
How many movies do we get where people get stranded out in the middle of Arizona and then die in the desert?
This one and the last one. So
Yes.
the Arizona Monties are going to bust through our door, Kyle, if they hear you talking that kind of shit.
I love you, Arizona. Your mountains, deserts, and streams.
We also set up, I forgot, there's a scene before this where there's 2 convicts driving in a car late at night. Also 2 important characters, kind of. Really 1 important character. But they're being transported from some prison to another. I don't even know. It doesn't really fucking matter. But that scene just ends.
Keep it together.
And then the next morning we get a news report that they escaped.
Yeah.
A massive manhunt is underway for these 2 men, Jacob Tullis and Ronald Mitchell. Details are still unclear, but both men somehow managed to escape last night.
And I was like, why didn't we see that scene?
Because
they didn't have time to film it.
They didn't have time.
Yeah. great, fantastic. Also, I love that the Allie or Rose sees that on the news. She's like sitting there watching the news, and she sees it. I think it's Rose, and she's like, they're like, 2 convicts escaped last night. In other news, and it cuts to Rose, and she's like,
it's a very important story as it develops.
I'm like, is 2 people, random convicts escaping that it's not that crazy.
No.
It's not, and it made me wonder if maybe the news report was supposed to be like sightings of UFOs over the or something. You know what I mean?
Yes,
like that would make sense with like, wow, that's crazy. But then she's like, no, it's just some dudes escaped from a prison transport.
Thursday, 58:49 on Friday.
Then we find out, and this is important. Again, I'm going through all of these meticulous details because this film is an hour and like 17 minutes long, and the first 35 minutes of it is just establishing all of our characters. And Kyle, normally that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but it is in this film, and we'll get to why.
Because there's so many of them.
There's so many of them, and what happens later.
Yes.
So we go back to our guy from the beginning, who we find out is a scientist. He's like
astronomer?
Something. He's like mapping something in space. They don't really go into details there. But also we find out we have a whole scene where he shows up. He's sleeping on the floor of his ex-girlfriend's house.
Yes.
And she wakes him up, and he's sitting there like drinking wine at noon or something.
Is there any coffee?
It's 3:30 in the afternoon.
All right, how about some of that wine then?
I think you had more than enough last night.
Yeah, but that was last night. As for today...
And she's like giving him shit for being an alcoholic, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. And we get all this personal drama between them.
Which builds to nothing.
Builds to nothing. None of this, Kyle.
It's meaningless.
It's all fucking meaningless.
We need to talk, Kevin.
This isn't gonna be good.
I can't use my place as a crash pad anymore.
I know.
I have no interest in telling you how to live your life. Scenes like that are why we broke up.
Got it.
Because spoilers, every fucking character in this movie dies within 40 seconds of the aliens showing up.
Yes.
It's mind-blowing. He goes to work, basically. He stumbles in late to work, gets yelled at by his supervisor, or the woman who was like working before him, for being late to work again because he's an alcoholic.
3 times this week.
Yeah, and but he's got to go do some more star mapping or whatever the heck he's doing.
Well, why didn't you finish charting Sector 2? Because it should have been done days ago.
Yeah, I'm on top of it.
I'm serious.
Christ, I know, okay?
Goodbye, Kevin.
And then we cut to a convenience store, and this is great. This is where we get our introduction to 2 more characters, 3 more characters. We have this guy standing at the cashier who's Roy or something like that.
The one with the hat and the beard.
Who's getting cheated on? Yeah, that guy. Yeah. He's introduced, and there's this news story on the news about the escaped convicts. And Kyle, did you see that shot of the news of the story on the on
Not
the TV?
really.
It's terribly green screened. It's clipping through the guy. Like the reporter is standing there, and it's clipping through his shirt and everything. It looks terrible. And then secondly, it's a news report. And I don't know if they did this because they knew that the TV they were replacing they were shooting it from a 45-degree angle.
Was it getting a glare?
No. So they shot the news report that they're putting in
head
there.
on?
No, at a 45-degree angle. So when you see it, the news reporter is not talking to the camera. He's talking to nothing. So news. If you've ever watched the news, when they do a news delivery, they do it to the camera, to the viewer. But because this scene, because they were replacing this shot, they thought they needed to put the camera where the camera was going to be in the scene or something.
No.
And so he's talking to nothing, and there's a camera over here filming him, which is not how you shoot a news.
No, that's amazing.
A news stand-up. It's so weird.
So
it's
dumb.
so weird. Oh, my God.
You got it.
What's that you got on the TV?
About last night.
Jailbreak.
They still ain't got him.
Apparently not.
Huh. What's the reward?
Didn't say.
That'd be a hunt worth joining for sure.
But then so we're introduced to Roy there, and then another couple walks in, Kyle.
Yes.
A young woman and a guy with a beard, a very glorious beard. And did you recognize who the young woman is? That is one Natalie from Pocket Man and Cargo Boy. She is one of the woman characters from Pocket. She's not the main teacher. She only shows up a little bit. She's not like one of the main characters.
I thought she seemed familiar.
Yes, she's one of the other ancillary who is another agent or something who shows up occasionally. But that's her. And so she shows up in this movie. So we're introduced to them, and they don't even have names, I don't think, because they're not that important.
I think that is Sophie and Tyler.
No, the Sophie is the girl from the beginning, I think, from the bar, unless there's two Sophies.
Sophie.
And I was like, at this point, I was like, boy, we're like 20 minutes in. I'm like, we're really taking a while to get to the aliens here. And we're still not even to the fucking aliens. We still have another 10 minutes.
We get the cop / sheriff?
Well, yeah, because then our fugitives show up, and our brother character, one of the two fugitives, got shot. Like during the escape, he got shot.
Thank God that prison convoy had a bunch of sweatshirts,
and
hoodies and stuff.
Yeah, they're not in their orange jumpsuits anymore. But he walks inside to get some supplies. The main guy, I can't remember his name. He's got like long hair. Jake, yeah. He walks inside to get some supplies. And then we're introduced to the sheriff who walks in. Another fucking character. We're at like 12 characters now that are like all relevant or supposed to be relevant characters that we've done world building for all of them. Yes. We find out that the sheriff, like the convenience store guy, apologizes to him or gives pity to him because his daughter died.
I'm sorry to hear about your little girl.
Yeah, condolences, man.
A year ago or something like that. It's wild. Then we're introduced to another character. There's a random sexy lady who calls... We cut to her house, and this is Roy's wife.
Yes.
And she calls more characters.
More characters.
She calls a guy.
It is an internet of characters.
There's like 54 characters in this movie, and Kyle, 3 of them matter.
Yes.
3. Are you sure we're heading the right way?
Trust me. I found my bearings.
Don't worry, if he gets lost, I can always find my way to Mexico.
Oh my God!
I do like how so like the Jake guy, the criminal dude, goes in there, asks for supplies, looking for a first aid kit. The store owner is just like, sure, yeah, they're down that aisle. He gets brought in a wanted poster with this guy's face on it, and doesn't think for a second to be like, hey, this guy just walked in.
Yeah, right. I know, it's wild. Yeah, the sheriff hands him that poster. It's like, you just solved that. It's right there, dude. He's right there.
Also, Roy's a bounty hunter.
Yes, Roy is a bounty hunter. Again, we learned so much about all of these characters, and none of them fucking matter.
That one, the Roy being a bounty hunter kind of matters because he...
Yes, sorry, it matters.
Relevant.
It matters a little bit, but not really. And then so we find out that Roy's wife, Julie or something, I can't remember what her name is cheating on Roy with Little Buck from Buck's Breaks.
Buck's Breaks.
Hi, may I speak with Buck?
Big Buck or Little Buck?
Little Buck.
Yes.
Which Buck's Breaks is the best part of this whole movie.
Yes. If you're looking for quality parts, go to Buck's Breaks.
Buck's Breaks. Putting holes in the competition since the 1970s.
And don't forget our promise. Fast service, satisfaction guaranteed. What?
Especially at the end, which we'll talk about. But she calls up Buck and goes to meet up with him to have sex with Buck.
Hey, Gina.
Hey, Nick.
Little Buck's in the back, but, maybe I could do something for you.
Not a chance.
Had to try.
And then she says she's going to yoga, but she shows up at the mechanic shop, and we get boobs for like 30 seconds.
This really disgusting bathroom.
Yeah, she's changing in a mechanic shop bathroom, and it's just like, ugh. Still, we're not to the aliens yet, Kyle. We cut back to the observatory called Gangplank Observatory, terribly photoshopped onto a different building with like a terribly photoshopped on observatory. And we cut inside, and we're introduced to a janitor,
Hector.
Another character.
Yes.
We're still getting introduced to characters like 30 minutes into a movie that is an hour and 17 minutes long.
Yeah.
And where none of these characters fucking matter. But so he, at this point...
Oh, we've been interspersed with the alien. Of course, all their transmissions are in English because, you know,
of
why
course,
not?
Yeah.
Being like, what is your status? We're
Yeah.
traveling to this point. We're
Yeah.
traveling to that point.
Yeah.
But they are making their way towards Earth.
Yeah. Then we get a little interstitial scene where they sit and talk of these mechanics talk for 20 minutes about how Buck is having sex with Roy's wife, and that doesn't matter.
I mean, what the fuck's she seeing that guy? What's little Buck got that I don't got, huh?
Grandpa does own the place.
Big fucking deal.
You know what the real question is what's little Buck got that Roy ain't got?
A functioning wang.
Because those characters don't really matter, but one of them's a drug dealer, and that guy is the drug dealer for Natalie from Pocket Man and Cargo Boy and her boyfriend, even though weed is legal, and they say that, but there's no dispensaries around them, so they're buying illegal weed. I don't understand.
I just hate spending money on this dirt weed shit.
There's not any other dispensaries around here, so it's this or nothing.
None of this matters, Kyle. None of this matters, but it's all in the film, so we're fucking talking about it, Kyle. We're fucking talking about it.
You guys are about to be doing really fine as well once you burn a little bit of that kind right there.
Thanks.
Oh, then we cut back, and I gotta talk about this scene at the campsite with the brother and Dylan, the little twerpy dude.
Yeah.
There, he's like, hey, can I have a beer?
It'd be cool if I had one of those beers.
And the brother's like, sure, don't tell anybody.
You mean the fiance?
I don't know if that's happened yet.
That's
I think
Rose's fiance.
Yeah, but I don't know if they're technically that's been revealed. Sure, it's
No.
her fiance
Anyways.
because it has revealed at one point.
Yeah,
that she,
so he's supplying alcohol to a minor.
Go for it. Not gonna rat me out to the girl's parents, are you?
Hell no.
Yes, but my favorite thing, he goes, sure, grab a beer. And so they're on a camping trip for a weekend, Kyle. His beer is in a tiny little cooler. No ice.
Yeah.
Just one beer can.
Yes.
And it's open. It's
Yes.
just open. When the teenager asks, he goes, sure, grab a beer. Cooler's just sitting there open with no ice or anything. And he reaches in and grabs one can of beer out. And it's those kind of details, Kyle, that's just like you telling me you couldn't get a normal size cooler and buy a bag of ice and throw a fucking 6-pack of beer in there. You couldn't be bothered to do that, Kyle. The joys of filming outside. Oh my God. So then, like you said, we find out that Rose got engaged. She shows Allie her ring. On top of might be one of these hills, literally right here, Kyle,
Yeah,
somewhere.
because they all look the same.
It all looks the same, and it's one of these sort of hills that literally there's one right over here across from our house that it could have been filmed on. And they're standing there, and as they're standing there, a really fantastic CG spaceship.
Yeah, it
crashes.
I know.
What the hell was that?
And I love how so there's this force that hits the planet with such an impact that it literally tears this alien from the ship. Like he is tossed from the ship. The ship is in pieces, shredded. What kind of effect do we get on the screen for this ship hitting the planet?
Like an explosion, isn't it? Yeah, like, I thought it was like a little
Well,
explosion.
it's like a boom, but like their reaction to it of like, oh my God, that explosion happened not terribly far away from us.
Yes, it's like right across the hill.
No,
like
there's no shockwave.
No.
And then
it does release eventually like a weird EMP pulse that looks really not great. And also, at this point, I'm like, well, the boyfriend or the fiance is 100% dead because she says the line about him.
Ethan's a great guy. He is. Yeah, he's 1 in a million. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he's fucking
Oh,
dead.
yeah,
He's
dead.
dead. To be fair, everybody in this movie's dead, but
Yeah.
he's especially dead. Then we cut back to our astronomy, whatever, observatory, and our guy has discovered. The janitor sees like a signal on the thing and runs to the bathroom to get Kevin out of the bathroom who's puking from being hungover or whatever. And he's like, you got to get in here. There's aliens. And he comes in.
Aliens?
And I love it's just all these like computer monitors and stuff. And did you notice they have like a big TV on the wall and they have all these cheap like, pre-purchased assets stuck in them.
All this stuff was like clearly like green screened in.
Yes, but my favorite part is that the one on the TV on the wall is clearly not scaled properly into the TV frame. It's cut off on the right-hand
That's
side.
great.
Like it's a map of the world, and like all of Asia is just not. It's like cut off, and you see like a second part where like a little bar pops up, and it's like not centered properly. Like they did not scale the graphics to the thing.
It's great.
It's so stupid. Let off a giant EMP and all the electronics go out. Then we have this little scene I have to talk about because it's such a weird coincidence that we have to discuss it. I just want to make sure our battery's still, we're good. There's this little scene where the Buck is teaching the girl, what's her name, to shoot, and they're standing they're in the middle of the desert, Kyle. And he's got like a rifle, and he's like showing her how to shoot it, and we get a reverse shot of the targets they're shooting at. And it's only a few seconds. Did you notice?
See it.
There's like all these targets lined up on a thing, and if you look behind the targets, there's a person's house and cars.
Oh no.
Kyle, it's another movie filmed in Arizona where the people shooting guns for target practice are actively aiming at houses.
Wow.
Why is that? Do you people down here know how guns work? Like, what are you doing? It's so wild.
Shooting ranges are normally in areas away from civilization.
The state is nothing but an arid desert with no people. Why are so many of your target ranges facing houses?
They gotta be close to the air conditioning.
Oh, it's wild. It's so wild. I couldn't believe it that another movie. I was like, I got to a point where I was like, is this like a running inside joke for like Arizona filmmakers? Is this like what they do?
An aim for that bullseye. Just line up the sights. Just like that.
I hit it.
Then, so the EMP went off, and now it's like nighttime.
Yes.
And
everything's fried.
And Kyle, normally you would illustrate that by having like a person be like, "Oh man, my phone's out."
What the fuck?
Did you forget to charge it?
Guess so.
We spend 5 minutes going between every one
It's
of
so
the
annoying.
84 characters that we have already introduced, going.
Also,
my phone doesn't work.
Crazy. Must have blown the breaker. I'm gonna go check the fuse box.
All right, hurry.
Come on. I don't know. Car won't start.
My tablet's dead. Just like my phone.
And suddenly our phones died.
Ours too.
something that could have been done. This is something that could have been done, and I'm irritated that this hasn't done more because it is something that's not thought about today. It's something that definitely would have been thought about 40 years ago, but definitely not thought about today. If you have a manual transmission vehicle, you can use the choke to start your vehicle.
I'll take your word for it, Kyle. Okay. I don't know anything about cars.
Brian, you should know this. Do you know why? It's part of your favorite video game of all time.
Ratchet and Clank?
No, The Last of Us.
It's not my favorite video game of all time.
Oh, okay. Cut to Brian being like, it's so beautiful.
And he's still flawed, though, because he makes the wrong decision at the end of the game. Like, he makes the morally incorrect decision. He makes a very selfish decision at the end of the game.
The story is not concluded at the end. The story is not.
No, and I agree that it's not concluded, but I loved that about it. I absolutely loved that.
I don't like that about it, and this is why. There's nothing good that comes out of this decision.
A game can be good and not be my favorite video game of all time.
Yeah, but it was in there. You just get some momentum, you use the clutch or the choke or whatever.
No, right. You would think that, especially because in this area, that
doesn't work without a automatic
transmission. It's fairly remote. You would assume that a few of these people would have vehicles that actually didn't have the computers in them people would have some older trucks and stuff that were just purely mechanical, you know what I mean? And you would think would be able to thus run, but none of the people that
they keep saying all this stuff is shorted. It's like, I mean, a hotline to the ignition source is not a complicated matter.
Oh God, Kyle, you're inviting so much shit in the comments. I just want
if somebody can hotwire a car by just
talking,
putting two lines together.
Yep, just keep saying things.
All right, whatever.
Just keep saying things about things that people
whatever.
And he hops in his Pinto and goes to visit his girlfriend. He drives a Pinto in this movie.
Good Lord. Also, if your vehicle is started, if your vehicle's already going, then it's not going to turn off from your circuits being fried. It's already in motion. The pistons are already firing. Whatever.
I don't know. I'm not saying you're wrong, Kyle. I'm just saying everybody in the comments is going to say you're wrong.
If anything, at the very least, you would lose lights. You'd lose your headlights.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Fucking bugs.
I love that you just keep going.
Fine.
Keep adding details.
I will believe what I find is really fucking dumb in this movie.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I just love you making very confident statements about what would or wouldn't happen in the case of an alien EMP. It's very funny to me.
Good Lord. Do we not have any fucking insect repellent?
Yeah, we do. I found some.
Good. All right, now everybody. Brian's wrong.
This is primo content right here.
Yep. Just for you guys.
So we cut to finally the fucking alien, Kyle. Our scientist guy stumbles into the desert and immediately stumbles across the alien spaceship.
Yes.
Immediately.
And the unconscious alien.
Yeah. Oh, and also the janitor came with him because why not? He's just I guess I'll go check it out.
Yeah, sure. I'll come check out this. We find out none of it matters anyway.
Yes, none of it matters. So the alien, our scientist finds the alien and immediately does the fucking Prometheus thing and just starts trying to poke it with a stick.
Come on.
He gets zapped.
Do something.
He gets zapped immediately. It's ow, my arm. And apparently this seems to jumpstart the alien because now the alien is alive.
Something's happening, man.
And immediately murders the scientist and the janitor.
Yes.
Immediately. Kyle, we spent, of the first 40 minutes of this movie, we spent 10 of it watching and learning about this scientist's backstory, only for him to immediately die unceremoniously in 4 seconds.
Yes.
Now, I will say that you can do that if you're doing a thing where sort of breaking our expectations is the point. Subverting expectations is the point. But it's literally every character in this movie. Every fucking character is.
If you do that with everyone, there is nobody to be invested in.
Yes, it's so infuriating. Yeah, and the thing that's wild is we spent more time on him than anybody else. And we even spend a lot of time on other people, but and he just immediately dies.
Then Alien just goes on a killing spree, kills the wife who's been cheating.
Yeah.
kills one of the Buck
and
guys.
Gina died.
Kills
then
our mechanic drug
the weed
dealer.
mechanic dies. And again, I'm like, why did we spend 30 minutes introducing all these characters, and then within 30 seconds of screen time, they're all dead. All of them. It's, oh my God. Then Natalie dies. Natalie, who had a sweet, sweet lovemaking scene with her boyfriend earlier in a tent, which I'm going to spare you guys most of that scene. The ADR is delightful in that scene, though.
You are so hot. Hell yes. Are you ready for your close-up?
And then, again, it's like, what? Again, so Kyle, what was the point? And again, I get that we're sort of setting up the world, but what the scene where they buy weed from the mechanic, that serves zero. We don't ever see them smoke the weed. We don't, because here's the thing that would make sense with that scene. You have the scene where they go and they're going camping as well. They buy weed from this mechanic. We should have a scene where they're high as shit, and then they find the alien, and they're like, holy shit. You know, that's what
This is some good shit.
That's what you do with that setup, right? But we don't fucking do that. They just die in a tent after having it's so stupid. I hate it
My
so much.
antlers feel weird.
Eventually, the convict
stumbles upon the campers.
Well, yeah, because he is at this point. He stumbles upon the campers, and then he has them come back. He has the boyfriend come with him. He's like, "Hey, my brother's dying.
Yeah.
We had a hunting accident." And the brother's like, "All right, I'll go help him." And then while he's there, the sheriff shows up randomly just stumbles across them in the middle of the desert. And then Jake pulls a gun and sort of
the brother's dead, by the way.
Not yet. Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, his brother. Yeah. His brother bled to death in the car. Yeah. I thought you meant
brother. Whatever.
I think it is. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
So,
He bled to death in the car, but now he takes the sheriff and the fiance captive.
Easy now. Or you can end up just like him.
What the hell, man?
Now we're gonna do this real nice and easy.
And ties up the sheriff, and I don't remember what happens to him in this moment yet. He dies eventually, but not yet.
Yeah. They take them back to the camp, though.
Yeah. Oh, that's what happened. It's that, no, right here, the cop gets out of his bindings and starts fighting with the convict, and then at that point, the alien shows up.
Yes.
And back at the camp. And then they're all, like, fighting at the camp, and the alien's there, and then the alien
just wrecks the fiance.
Yeah, the fiance's like, "Go, get out of here, run!" And then he just gets grabbed and gets his neck snapped.
Yep.
And fucking Rose, the love interest, his fiance, has like zero reaction to watching her fiance.
She's not the only one, because there's a
nobody
lot of
reacts to people dying.
There's a lot of people who are like, "Oh no, this person I cared about and loved most of my life gone."
Yeah, they were
shit.
I can't believe he's dead.
They had been sweethearts since middle school.
Mm-hmm.
She has been in a relationship with this guy since middle school. They're in college now. And she watches him get his neck snapped, and they run, and her reaction is like, that kind of sucked.
Damn it, Allie! You saw what that thing did to Ethan.
It's like, what is happening? Why is nobody reacting like a human being? Oh my God. Also, Rose breaks her leg while she's running. She like steps in a hole or something and breaks her leg.
Rip.
And so they have to like carry her. And Dylan is like, we gotta leave this bitch behind. She's slowing us down because Dylan is just a little shithead. Oh, I love it so much.
I feel I gotta be straight with you, all right? Whatever the odds are of outrunning that thing and making it back to town, they get substantially better if we're not slowed down by Rose and a busted leg.
So they get to like this like a mobile home or something. I'm not even sure whether it's a squirrel, I think.
Okay.
I saw a cool looking weird one of those rabbits with really long ears this morning. I woke up to look at the sunrise, and it was like there was a little rabbit that had crazy ears. I was like, I don't know what you are.
All right.
And then there's these little birds that were running across the road. I don't know what they were. They might have been road runners, Kyle. They were like...
Were they being chased by a coyote?
I didn't see one, but they could have been.
Okay.
But I wasn't sure what they were, but they weren't flying. They were just like running down the road, and I was like, oh, okay. Dylan's like, I don't give a shit. He's talking to the sheriff. He's like, let's just get out of here. I don't give a shit about them. The sheriff's like, dude, you're a fucking asshole. And he's like, I've just been trying to have sex with Hallie. I don't give a shit about any of them. And he's like, dude, you can leave. I'm helping them.
I've been trying to tap the younger sister, but she's been blue balling me all semester, so no great loss there either, am I right?
Yeah.
But then he's like, fine, whatever. And so they get out of the thing and they're still trying to make a run for it. And I think they get lost or something at this point. And they like sit down for a second to rest.
I don't know how much longer I can keep this up.
Stop talking like that. Just rest here for a second and we'll help you the rest of the way.
And then Allie gets her face caved in by the alien. And again, or not Allie, Rose gets her face caved in by the alien, and Allie is completely unfazed by watching her sister's face get collapsed by an alien.
Shit! I'm really sorry.
We get a moment later where she's like, I just feel like I'm losing everything. About
Zero emotion. Zero emotion.
I can't do this.
What happened?
My sister's dead, and Ethan, I hardly got to see her since she moved away to college. This trip was supposed to be a fun weekend together, and she just got engaged, and...
I get it. Sometimes losing the ones we love the most is what life hits us the hardest with.
And then, so then it's now Dylan, I think, split off with and meets up with the convict at one point, and Allie is with the sheriff, and the sheriff gets lost. He's like, I don't know where I'm going. We're lost. I'm sorry.
We're going the wrong way. It's further into the desert.
No.
Shit.
It's my
Roy
bad.
gets into the mix because the convict shows up to Roy's place.
Yeah.
And now Roy wants to bring him in for the reward money.
Yes. Yeah. Because Dylan at that point I think might be dead. I can't remember.
No,
Dylan dies at one point, doesn't
because
he?
Roy
gets his fucking head blown off. That's right. I forgot about that.
He has to inform Roy on the alien gang because the convict just seems like he's trying to say whatever he can say to get out of the situation.
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, you're right. And then he gets his fucking head blown off by the alien. And I love, so then this is Dylan and Jake are together and they start running and Jake says to Dylan,
"This way, old boy's done for."
And it's like, what clued you off to old boy being done for? The part where his head was literally blown off the top of his fucking body?
Yep. They did ask, how did you get separated from the group? She broke her leg and she was just slowing us down, so I left them. Oh, and I thought I was cold-hearted.
Yeah.
Your sister broke her leg and started slowing us down. I told them leave her ass behind. Survival of the fittest, common sense. They don't want to leave her, so I took off.
Damn. And I thought I was cold.
We have this one scene with Allie. It's talking to, I think, the sheriff. And 100% what happened in this scene was, Allie is talking, and she says this line.
Not sure what it was, though, but it landed pretty close to us.
But what happened was, it's an ADR scene, and Allie's talking, and you can hear the moment in the line where Allie, in the ADR booth, Allie read the line all together without any pauses in it. But in the scene,
oh no,
she paused in the middle of the sentence. So they literally start the sentence, and then you hear the clip pause in the middle of a word. They slid it over to where she started talking again in the original scene and played it there. So she's like, and then I went to the...
Not sure what it was, though, but it landed pretty close to us.
It's so bad, Kyle. It's like, wait, you couldn't just redo that line, that ADR line?
Yeah.
Like you couldn't, wait, are they not watching the scenes while they're doing the ADR? How? What the?
Nope.
Not sure what it was, though, but it landed pretty close to us.
So finally, all four of our remaining survivors meet up. The convict, Allie, Dylan, and the cop. And Dylan is dead.
Yeah.
Immediately dead.
We also get the next 10 minutes of the convict and the sheriff wrestling over firearms.
Yes.
And who's held captive.
Yeah, exactly.
Scumbag.
And then they decide, like, Allie's like, I'm done running.
What's wrong?
I'm tired of running.
We gotta keep moving or that thing's gonna catch up with us.
Exactly, my point.
What are you talking about?
It doesn't matter how much you run, that thing's just gonna catch up to us.
If we just stay here, that doesn't change anything. Where are you going?
I want to fight.
We need to kill this thing.
Yeah, and the sheriff's like no, we should run.
No.
We've been shooting at it all night, and they're like, yeah, it's hurt. I'm like, is it? Apparently it is.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, I don't know how they would assume that. Anyways, but they're like, we can kill it. We just got to do a trap, and their trap is to
get. Well, they ran into it. There was no trap.
Yeah, there's no trap. Like the whole setup is like, oh, we need to trap it.
Just a few more shots and I think we can kill that thing.
What are you saying?
We can try to set up a trap for it, like an ambush.
That's crazy.
Girl has a point.
Shut up!
Because we can make a trap, but it just walks up and they just shoot at it.
Looks like he was expecting us.
So much for the element of surprise.
All right, he's getting ready to strike. When he does, I'll go left, you go right. Understand?
Yeah.
But so the cop ran away. He's like, nah, I'm not. And it's like, I guess this is the setup of like, he's got to regain his courage because his daughter died and he's been like a wimp ever since. I don't know. Who cares? It's stupid.
It's my daughter's birthday.
Oh, how old is she?
She would have been 6.
But he comes trundling back in after like Jake and Allie are trying to fight the alien and they're losing. And Jake is like, grabs the alien and he's like, shoot him. And the sheriff rolls up with his gun and he's like, I don't have a clear shot. So he runs over and from 3 inches away just unloads into the alien's chest.
Can't get a clear shot.
I can't hold it much longer, damn it. Take the shot.
Just over and over and over and over again. It's incredible.
Somehow one of those shots either missed the alien and hit
or
Jake,
went through the alien and went into Jake's stomach.
Oh shit.
I got shot.
Yeah.
But so Jake now has a bullet in his
gaping bullet wound.
His abdomen.
Yeah, right in his stomach.
And he's just like, takes more than that to kill me.
Takes more than a gunshot wound to get rid of me.
Okay, buddy. You have a projectile
lodged in your stomach.
That is a wound that has is going to get infected.
Oh yeah,
there's
all kinds
massive
of problems.
internal bleeding.
All kinds of problems. And then, especially for what happens at the end of this movie, he's just dead. Yeah, 100%. He's just dead.
They're all just dead.
Well, true, but I mean, like, if maybe he got rushed immediately to like an active emergency room, you know, like sure, maybe he'd be fine. But so they come stumbling out of the desert. And they're like, man, nobody's been answering our calls for help. I wonder why. And they round the corner. And we get this reveal shot
of the aliens have invaded.
That's why no one responded. They're all fighting for their lives.
And it's all this terrible CG explosions and spaceships. It's all so bad. Oh God. And I love Jake says,
looks like the fight's just getting started.
And my favorite thing in the world would have been if after he said that, he just collapsed dead on the ground from his gaping stomach wound. Oh, God.
But yeah, another alien invasion movie that just ends in hopelessness.
Yeah, ends in hopelessness. It's fantastic. But I was really hoping that, but anyway, so then the credits roll, and it's either sequel bait or it's just more likely it's just like, look, everything's dead. But then the credits roll, and then Kyle, we get the weirdest post-credit scene we've had in one of these movies.
Yes.
In a long fucking
because
time.
they're reusing footage that they did for the Big Bucks Breaks commercial.
But at first, you don't know what it is.
Hey, Tommy. Did you remember to take the car into Bucks Break? They're kind of old.
It's just some old lady in a road gets hit by a car, and it's like straight out of Neil Breen. It's straight out of Fateful Findings.
Yes, it's so good.
It's so good.
Look out!
And I was like, wait, it's a commercial for Bucks Breaks.
Don't let this happen to you. All this could have been prevented by a trip to Bucks Breaks.
And then this is legit the best part of the movie.
These breaks suck. And then they hit this old lady. And then they're mourning over a grave. Has this ever happened to you?
It's the best part of this movie, Kyle.
Have you ever been in a situation where you need that extra stopping force, but you didn't quite have it? Well, Big Bucks Brakes, we can get that right to you.
Be safer and smarter with Big Buck's personal guarantee.
And then it's just girls in bikinis with guns. It's their whole Bucks Breaks. And made me wonder if Bucks Breaks was a real place who like paid for this movie basically to have a commercial slapped in the end.
I once ran over an old lady in the road, and now I'm dealing with major legal issues. This wouldn't have happened if I went to Big Bucks Breaks.
I'm an actual person. I'm not a paid actor. And I would highly recommend Bucks Breaks to all of my friends and or family.
It's so amazing. I love the ending of that. That post-credit scene. It's just a commercial. It's not a post-credit scene in any traditional sense of the word.
Have you ever been convicted of vehicular manslaughter?
And it's not just brakes. We offer service on nearly all makes and models.
I really like Big Bucks. I'll tell you what. Your personal satisfaction is Big Bucks' priority.
Come on, not the Bucks Breaks. Not if you had Bucks Breaks. Oh, it's fantastic. Kyle's movie's Bad Bad.
Yes.
The setup takes so long and then is all rendered meaningless in a matter of minutes in a way that is so infuriating that you're like, why did I watch the first 40 minutes of this movie if you're going to kill every single one of the characters? And again, not kill them in ways that's interesting. They just die in seconds in
either necks broken, they get blasted, holes through them, they get their head shot off.
And just in seconds. And again, it's not like they have like interesting character development and then they die. They just die. And it's so pointless and it's all so boring. And I will say that the alien looks kind of interesting, like given the budget. Like it
looks like it could
worse.
pass for like a Deep Space Nine alien or something like that.
It's like this glowing thing. It kind of has tusks. It looks okay. It could look worse. And there's some okay shots at times. Like there's a shot where the alien's like kneeling on the ground and we get this like Dutch angle push in. And like there's some interesting ideas here and there. And the acting's not all terrible. People do differing levels of pretty good, and then other people are just like no emotion when they watch their most close loved ones die, like brutally.
Man, that sucked.
My sister's dead?
But yeah, ultimately I would have to go with Bad. Hopefully they'd make a sequel that could, much like Pocket Man and Cargo Boy. We gave Pocket Man and Cargo Boy one a Bad, but then they came with Rise of Sir Longbottom and knocked it out of the park and got that good bad rating. And nailed it. So hopefully Battlefield 2030 can come back and really crush it. My recommendation would be don't spend 40 minutes setting up characters that don't matter.
Yes.
That's my big recommendation.
Yes.
Kyle, as always, the people can do us a giant favor by heading over to patreon.com/GoodBad GBorBB. I think I don't remember. You'll find it. The link's in the description. Support us there. It's a huge help and allows us to do things like what we're doing right now, which is visiting Arizona for a very special project, which you'll learn a little bit more about.
It's gonna be
soon.
awesome.
Dreams do come true.
T-Public. I'm actually sporting some merch.
Kyle's rocking the merch.
Long tee shirt in this horrible environment. That's
terrible decision, Kyle. But yeah, head over to T-Public and search for Good Bad or Bad or
But I
Quantum
do
Physics.
it for you.
I do it for you, the
people.
Search for that, and you can get your GB or BB merch. Hopefully, we have some ideas for some new merch. Hopefully, we can have that in the next while. Not anytime super soon, but hopefully before too long. Also, I have a podcast. I forgot to do this last time because it was so late and I was so tired. We've been up for like 18 hours. I didn't remember at the end of that episode. I was like, my brain's not working anymore. I have a podcast called This Film Was It, where we talk about movies that are based on books. When this episode is out, the most recent episode will have been. Oh, I don't know because it's a listener's choice. It will have either been The Great Gatsby, To Kill a Mockingbird, or The Outsiders. We're doing a back to school special.
All of those are. I'm not. All those are great films.
Yes.
Depending on which Great Gatsby you watch.
It's the 2013 one, baby.
Yeah, with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Nice.
I haven't seen it.
And you get Tobey Maguire.
Yes. But so we're doing a listener's choice for back to school. We're doing like
those are all
classics.
great choices.
Yeah,
by the way.
So people will get to vote, and by the time this is out, we'll know which one it is. But when we're doing this now, I don't know which one it is. So, but anyways.
I need you doing The Outsiders. Only 4. I need. teenage gang wars that end with people just getting stabbed.
I mean, yes, that is the plot of The Outsiders, Kyle. You described it perfectly. Oh, God. Sometimes we stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/GBorBB_Kyle, GBorBB_Brian, blah, blah, blah.
Recently, I've had a theme of doing Twitch Controls Chaos mod for GTA 5,
There you go.
where you guys get to interact and vote for what kind of chaos I get to deal with in stopping me from completing my goal, ranging anything from dropping whales from the sky to people spinning around, to vehicles spinning around, to stuff randomly exploding, or me just literally shooting myself.
There you go. All of that sounds like fun. We need to wrap this up because the sky is getting way more exposed than you now.
Oh, no.
We didn't use any lights because it's... Anyways, it looks fine. Well, it's just getting brighter and brighter, and you're getting darker and darker, so it's not looking better. That's all.
Until next time.
Until next time, keep watching movies. Maybe not.
just not Battlefield 2025.
There's so many other good indie Arizona movies. Go find one of those and watch one of those. Including a very special one that's hopefully coming out before too terribly long.